Hi everyone, and welcome back to my series as I explore Black excellence throughout DDI. Today, I have a very special guest and the newest board member here at DDI, Dr. Destineys Fraguada. Dr. Fraguada, thank you so much for joining me on this conversation, and I really want to know more about you, but first, can you please explain what all the letters after your name means?
Well, thank you for having me, and I'm very excited to be here. Let's see, the most recent acronyms after my last name is DHA, which means a doctor in health administration. Basically, I'm a specialist in the health administration field with a concentration in a study for those that are suffering from mental health disease as well as substance abuse disorder. I also have a MSHA, which is a Master's in Health Administration, as well as a MS, which is a Master's in Science in Business and Project Management.
I understand as a board member, it is a volunteer position, so I want to thank you on behalf of DDI for lending your time and talents. What made you decide to become a board member here at DDI, and where are areas you think you can make the greatest impact?
So one of the major reasons that I joined DDI was that I have 3 family members, 3 cousins that have developmental disabilities. I noticed that DDI offers this type of wraparound care, educational services from birth all the way to adulthood. That was one of the many things that intrigued me about DDI, and the fact that they are in their community and spread throughout the community. So a couple of areas that as a board member, sitting on the board, being part of some committees, I feel that the biggest impact that I can make as a board member is to provide support and push for more supports for the staff. That is basically, the foundation to DDI, the foundation to the support that they give to those that they care for. So, knowing what DDI stands for and the pillars that they stand for, I think providing and making sure that we're giving back to the staff and providing, more of like leadership opportunities, growth opportunities, track opportunities for those staff members definitely is so important to the DDI mission and the leadership. I can't sit here as a board member of DDI and say that my life hasn't been met with any adversity, especially because of how I look, because of my nationality, because of where I grew up at. Because face it, I did not grow up in a white picket fence in the suburbs. I did grow up in the heart of an inner city with quite a high crime rate. So I think I was met with adversity at the level of high school. You start off in the inner city, in a high school, they already think that you're not gonna really rise. You're not gonna grow. You're not gonna go to college. You're just gonna work a meager job and just be part of the statistical issues. So that was one challenge, as well as being a young parent. I was one of those, being a parent at the age of 17, but I decided that I wanted more for myself. I didn't want to give society what they've always thought that I would be. So I thrived to go to college, because that's one thing that my mother told me, is that education is something no one could ever take away from you once you've earned it. It's yours. You could take a paper, but they can never take the knowledge that's embedded in your brain. So I continued to push myself to go to school, push myself to gain knowledge, push myself to work jobs that, guess what? My counterparts were the only ones that had it. And that was okay. I had a decision. I either stay and be mad, or push myself and be happy with a smile going through it. I also can't sit here and say that as a board member, I wasn't faced with racial bias, because I have been. And it actually happened very recently to me in my career, which was, I would say, a slap in the face in a way. Because I felt that at this rate, at this age, that my education, my ability, my work ethic would be more than enough for a person to see beyond my skin, my tone, the way I speak, where I come from, and it wasn't. And that to me was eye-opening that this type of racial bias still exists even in 2022, and we still are facing it, but it looks different. Mines were microaggressions. They were little, they were subtle, they were almost, if I wasn't paying attention, I would have missed it. But they started to be more and more frequent, so they were more visible. I think for me, my opportunity was do I stay, be mad, be classified as that, or do I just say, you know what, I'm gonna find the job that I want, and then I'm gonna come back, and you just might have to work for me. And that's exactly what happened. And that to me was my success. That was my way of someone not robbing me from what I felt I was entitled to. And I continue to grow. And now I'm a professor in a college. You know, who would have thought this young 17-year-old inner city girl that grew up being a woman of color could be a teacher at a doctorate level of a college to mold young, impressionable minds. I would have never thought that if you asked me when I was 17. So I've been faced with a lot of adversity throughout my life, whether it was societal, which I think is the majority of many, or institutional, which is where you work at, or familiar, which is sometimes those that you surround yourself with. I think it's about your frame of mind and how you look at things, and instead of looking and being absorbed by that through frustration, you turn it around and make it your fuel and make it the reason that you're doing what you're doing and thrive for better.